Welcome to Hour of Code 2016. This video is going to explain Hour of Code exercise with Lightbot, and we're going to compare it to the next steps where you can actually see and manipulate the coding using 2D MIT Scratch 2.0 and 3D Microsoft's Kodu. So you'll see here Lightbot will eventually take you to the first exercise, and it involves a sprite on a backdrop that has little blocks, and the exercise is to move this little guy using this visual code blocks, and to follow the instructions that will take him to this very end block where you'll light him up. You can see the block here is a different color. So you're going to use these 4 little visual code elements: forward, light, turn left, turn right, and you put them in this little code editor here. And you click on the green flag, or in this case white flag, in the green box. And if you need the instructions that come with this game, you click here on the little question mark. So I'm going to start, and I click on and see he needs to go forward how many, right? 1, 2. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and you'll see that the visual blocks show up here in the code editor. And then I need to make him turn left, it looks like. Now the good thing about this is you can run it bit by bit. You don't have to do the whole thing. So let's do that so I can show you how it works. So I'm just going to take him to the first part of this little journey. So we'll click on here, and you'll see he goes. And you're like, okay, I'm doing great. So to take you back to the beginning, you'll click this again, but you can continue to add code. So let's say the next thing we need to do is make him go forward 2 more, right? So 1, 2, okay. And let's click this and see. So it goes back, but it goes back and reads all of the code. Yay! Now, if you found that you made a mistake, and let's say you wanted him to go right instead of left, you can drag these little tiles over and drop them down here, and you can replace it with another one. So you can kind of fix your code as you go along. You will see, though, that this code editor only lets you put up to 12 blocks in here. So it is a little limiting, and part of the fun of code is that there isn't always just one way to do it. So you are a little locked into the way it says is the right way to do it. And you can also see the path, it's kind of obvious. But later exercises in Lightbot give you a little bit more challenges, where what I like about the next steps in Scratch and Kodu is that you can see that there are more than one way to get your character to do something. So anyhow, so let's take this back. We know that the correct way here is to make him go left after he goes forward twice. Okay. And then he's going to make another left-hand turn, right? He's going to have to go this way. Another left-hand turn. And he's going to have to go 2 more steps, right? So click on it, and don't forget to add the light, because that's the whole part of the game, right? Is turn it on. Now that's a sensor. So that senses that he's on it, and it tells the program behind the scenes here to light it up and to progress your game to the next level. So it's a leveling up kind of event handler. So let's see if this does it. So it's going to take him back to the beginning. Yay! So that's the end of that. So it's pretty basic. So what I'm going to do next is replicate this game in Scratch, so you can kind of see that the actual scripting elements behind what makes him, the sprite, or her, sprite move, and how you can build your own game along these lines. So here's my Scratch game. So I've built the sprite of Little Scratchy here, and I've added some blocks for the path. And that's probably like what Lightbot did. You just can't really see the design of it. And you have to do that because each sprite has to know how to interpret what happens when the little sprite touches it. And they also have a little information block that you can click on at any time to remind yourself how to play the game. So in this case, and you have to click on the sprite to see the coding, you'll see my little guy here. When I start the game, he automatically goes here to the X and Y coordinate. And then we've got him programmed on a loop here, a forever loop. So I've got him looking like he's walking. And I've got the deal that when he touches this end path here, then he says, I did it. And it changes color. And you'll see that because I have to click on that sprite. And that sprite has a costume of 2 colors. the original color black, which is what it starts with, and the color yellow, which makes it look like it's lit up, which is how the Lightbot game worked. Okay, and then I have a information sprite here. If you go to his script, and his backdrop is to say, when he's clicked, this is the playing backdrop, and this is the instruction backdrop. And this backdrop shows for the first couple seconds to explain the game. So let's play it and I'll show you. So the arrow keys control him, and that's what this explains here. Use the arrow keys to move. It lasts for 3 seconds. So you can probably change that. And see, he starts moving. So we go, he has to go here, go up 2, remember? And then he has to turn left. So he's going to go up, right? And then he's going to go, he did it, and he touched it. Now, if you move him off the block, it doesn't light up. So you have some options. There's lots of different things Scratch will let you do. So that's what I'd like you guys to do, is go on another platform like Lightbot and make the game a little bit different. Make it, what you would consider maybe better or more challenging. And see, if I'd clicked on the information box, that would give you back the instructions again for a couple of seconds. So next, I want to walk you through what it would be like to program this Lightbot game using a 3D environment, and talking more about robotics. Okay, so here's Kodu, and this is a 3D environment. So you'll see what I've got is I've got a little robot, and I've got a little path that he can drive along. And you'll see that I've got a little hidden sprite here, because Kodu I've got a different language than Scratch or Lightbot. And it doesn't really have sensors, but it does allow you to tie actions to hidden objects so that when you play the game, you can't really see the hidden sprites, but this little robot guy, Robbie the robot, you can program him to do things when he touches the invisible sprite. So it takes a little bit of creativity. So the other thing that this 3D environment introduces is camera, which you don't have in Lightbot or Scratch, which is kind of cool, and I'll show you there. So let's take a look at the coding here. So it's visual elements, just like you saw in Lightbot. So you're going to see pictures of things that you can add. In this case, we have the arrows controlling the robot, and we make him move slowly. And we have when he bumps the apple, which is the invisible sprite, then he acts happy. And we also have a couple of keyboard commands, and you're not going to be able to see on the screen because it's larger than the capture is catching. But there's 3 ways. You can type the I key to say once, the instructions again. You can type the 1 key to have the camera change to actually look at what he's looking at, the first person view. Or you can type the F key to have the camera follow, which is what the camera will default to. So let's go back to our game and actually play it. Now the other thing that Kodu introduces, which would be a nice next step to do, is it allows you to do settings and properties, which are also critical when you're doing robotics, because you want to control the settings of the little sprite or the robot so that you can control how fast he turns, because you'll see the problem here is I don't have glass walls. So if he touches the side, he falls off the edge of the path, and that's the end of the game and you have to restart. So that adds another extra challenge to it. There we go. So you see my instructions in the title of the game. You hit enter. Okay, so you're going to see I'm going to use, you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm using my arrow key. And at this point, I make the game a little bit not super hard because, you see I have the green around it, so it's not as likely he's going to fall off. So, but you kind of have to go fast, go slow here. It's a little bit of a challenge. You're not going to zip through this. But it's kind of what you would run into if you were programming robotics, right? So you have to be precise in what you're asking your robot to do, because that's the whole point of challenges and competitions, right? Is how well you've got your settings and your programming and your actual operations working. So you see when I get to the light colored tile, and he's actually touching the apple, which you can't see, and it's like, yay! But see what happens if I were to fall off the side? Whoa! And then you'd have to start the game all over again. So these are three really good exercises. It's good to start easy like Lightbot and kind of move to the next. Scratch is a pretty good way to see how the logic, you can put the logic together and kind of be creative and play it on the fly, which is when you hit that green flag or the green button with event handlers, and practice with loops and restrictions. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you're interested enough to learn some more Scratch and Kodu and Lightbot, and happy coding!